Hey everybody, welcome back to the Royal Read. I am so glad you decided to stop by and see what I'm reading on. But before we get started, you know how we do it over here. Yes, we get our shout outs out the way because these people took time out of their day to support the channel. And I'm telling you, I always have to put that first. So let's play this beautiful bean footage and we'll talk on the other side. All right, y'all, I want to give a quick shout out to 08065. Yes, my girl always come through. She is always supporting, and I am so lucky to have her as a part of this tribe. So thank you. And Jane Press came through. Yes, Jane has been with me since the beginning, and she never fails to come through and support. She is always in the comments. She is just everything. So thank you, Jane. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super thanks and thank you for being a part of this community. And my girl Tiger Mommy came through. Tiger Mommy is just everything. And she knows she's everything. She is always in the comments. She's always writing hard for the read. And you can't ask for anything better than that. So thank you, Tiger Mommy. And Beverly Jackson 6875 came through. Yes, Beverly is a ride or die, ride or die. She is always supporting. She's always in the comments. She is always down with the read. So thank you, Beverly. Thank you so much. And cool Cat Harlem came through. Yes, the coolest decided to come on through. She is such a great support. She is always coming through. She is always supporting. She's always in those comments dropping that knowledge. She is the coolest. So thank you, Cat. Thank you for coming through. And 2383521E came through. Yes, that's my girl as well. Always coming through, always supporting, always down with the read. Like I said, can I ask for anything better? I don't think so. And Chimamee, she came through too. Yes, Chimamee came through. And I'm telling you, she is the best of the best of the best. She came through over there on Buy Me a Coffee. Yes, she did. She came on through supporting the read. And I am so grateful and so thankful. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Chimamee. Yes. And thank all of y'all for coming through. Y'all don't have to, but you do it anyway. And that right there means everything. So thank you. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is, and y'all know what I do when I am putting the read together. I hit these internet streets, and let me tell you, that is where I have been. Now, I know I have gone missing for a minute, and from time to time, I will go missing for a minute. These internet streets can really get with you sometimes. It really can. I'm telling you, all the hag dragons, the toadies, the derangers, the trolls, and the flying monkeys just spewing all of their venom all over you, all over Megan, all over Harry. Yeah, it can get with you for a minute. Sometimes you have to step back, take a step back, and then step forward 2 feet and put your foot on their necks. Yeah, so sometimes you have to take a little break, a mini break, and then come back refreshed and ready to put your foot right on their neck. So that is exactly what I have done. And that is exactly what we're going to do. Yeah. So let's get into what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Princess Diana. Her birthday was, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. And because I was taking a mini break, I did not get to talk about it. So, yeah, I have some thoughts. And yeah, it was a little sadness there for me. I mean, I went through some of the posts that some of the squatties posted about it. Yeah, it's a little sadness of what could have been. You know, in every situation, Charles seems to take the wrong path. When he chose the horse over Princess Diana, that right there should have let us know exactly who he was and what he was dealing with when it came to being a wise individual. Now, I'm not saying that he's dumb. Some people say he's dumb. I am not in that camp. I think he's very intellectual, but he is not very wise. And that's where I think he confuses a lot of people because he presents as very intellectual, but he is not wise. He makes very unwise decisions. And what people have to understand is intellect and wisdom are two different things. You can be extremely well read. You can be able to calculate the distance between the earth and the moon, and you might even be able to cure cancer. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that you're wise, because we all know, we have saw it time and time again. Very intelligent people making very unwise decisions. And this is Charles in a nutshell. He absolutely do not have wisdom. And because of that, he chose the horse over Diana and just changed the trajectory of that monarchy. Yes, it is turning downward and he is running it into the ground. But I digress on that point. I said all that to say this. This latest decision of Charles and Willie to deny Harry and his family security, this is just typical Charles. He always make the wrong decision. I mean, if you look at the history of King Charles III, you would see that in his past is littered with bad decisions. Whenever at a crossroad or a fork in the road, Charles is always going to make the wrong decision. That is who he is. That is his history. And him not supporting Harry and Meghan to have security is one of these kinds of decisions. Terrible, terrible, unwise decision. And he will come to regret it, as I'm sure he has come to regret marrying his side piece and putting her on the throne. That was a nail in the coffin of his kingdomship. And him treating his baby son the way he's treating him is the final nail in the coffin of his kingdomship. I promise you that. But we're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about Kitty and her narrative. Well, should I call it a narrative or should I just call it what it is? And that is the lie. The lie her and Kensington Palace told about this so-called spiritual journey that she's on due to her being healed from cancer, and how she hiked all by herself to the three highest peaks in the United Kingdom. Yes, 3 mountains in 24 hours. And we're going to talk about that because it seems that this story is unraveling as fast as the Frankenstein picture did. Yes, it seems that this was nothing but a PR stunt. Nobody's surprised over here. Swatties are not surprised. We called it the first time we heard it because we know Kitty. Yes, we know Kitty. She is fake, she is phony, and she is always on some bullshit. So this is no surprise to us, but like I say, it is a wonderful thing to watch. Love getting my popcorn out, love getting my wine and watching it unwind. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about Harry's security and why he is in need of said security, and how I believe Charles and Willie has a very, very sinister plan in play. It is already in play. It has something to do with Invictus, and it has something to do with Harry and his family. So we're going to talk about that as well. And ending on our positive note, we have some good news coming by way of a lawsuit against the Fail. So we're going to talk about that as well. And we have a decision date that is in August, that we're going to get the decision from the lawsuit that Prince Harry and the other plaintiffs brought against the Daily Mail. And we're going to talk about some other things. Y'all know I'm always sprinkling in other things. I'm always digging and finding things I want to share. So we're going to have some other things mixed in there. Yes, like mixed nuts. So y'all know what y'all need to do. Y'all need to lock in and understand that I'm not going to keep you long, but I will keep you entertained. And we're going to start with this right here. And I am going to post this because I just thought this was so beautiful. And it's just such a beautiful picture of Princess Diana. And it says, "Happy 65th heavenly birthday, Queen Diana. May everyone who hounded you and contributed to your death never know peace." Yes, from my mouth to God's ear. Never allow Charles and his bed hopping side piece to know peace. And as we watch these two who schemed and connived and did all kind of treacherous things to get where they're at, as we watch them, these people have everything. They have the big hat. They have the wealth. They have the status. But I don't think they have the most important thing, the thing that absolutely has more value than everything that they have, and that's peace. You can see it in Charles, you can see it in the horse. And they won, but somehow they lost. I love it. And this squatty posted this on Princess Diana's birthday and said, "Today would have been Princess Diana's 64th, but it's actually her 65th birthday. Here's a video from her funeral where her brother tells the royal family that they ain't SHIT to their face. Today they're trying to do the same thing to Prince Harry and his family, what they did to her." Yes, I'm going to play just a snippet of what Charles Spencer said at Princess Diana's funeral, and how he called out those lizard people for their treatment of Diana. Yes, this will give us a feel of what Diana went through and what they want to put Harry and Meghan through. Like I said, these people are exactly the same as they were when Diana was alive and they were crucifying her. If they are showing us anything, it's that Charles have not changed one iota. And Willie is right there with him. It is shameful how Willie only uses Diana for good PR. That's it. Because every time George or Charlotte or Louis is asked about their Granny Diana, they have no idea who the person is talking about. So that right there is a receipt that he doesn't even teach his children about this mother he proclaims to love so much and continues to use as PR. But I digress. We're going to play this little clip and we'll talk on the other side. All right, y'all, I had to come back and delete the video because they dinged me for copyright. But basically what Charles did, he called them out to their faces and they had to sit there and take it. To me, that was the best part of all of it. Now, I will post it over on Patreon. they're a little more lenient. So I'm gonna try to post it over there so you can watch it over there. But that is the reason why the Windsors do not like the Spencers, because Charles called them out for their treatment of Diana to their faces. You know what is really, really crazy to me? Is that these same people, all the ones that stood up and clapped after this speech, all the ones that lined the mall, and Harry said when he touched their hands, they were wet from tears. All the ones who came and brought flowers to Diana's memorial at Kensington Palace, who wept at her funeral procession and threw flowers at her coffin. These are the very same people who are now enabling that family to do the same thing to Harry. I mean, the same people that was interviewed on this very day by all kinds of international media made a pledge that they were going to do everything to support those two boys. But as things are looking right now, they only meant to keep half of that promise because they only support Willie, not Harry. And it seems that it was something so simple as lies being printed in those rags over there to turn them against Harry. All that was needed was a organized smear campaign against Harry and his family for them to turn. And they turn so easily. But one thing I do know, people who choose to believe lies are people who want to believe lies. My only question is, where are those people now? Where are they now? Because they are needed. Because this family is trying to pull another fast one. Yes, they're trying to pull another Diana. Where are y'all? I want to know. Because it seems to me y'all have gone missing. Y'all absolutely have nothing to say about what is going on because it's definitely something going on here. And we see it. We are watching it in real time. These people no longer want Harry, Meghan, and those babies to walk the earth. I said it, that's my belief. And they are showing us each and every day. Charles has been showing us since the beginning, but we have not wanted to believe it. Harry has not wanted to believe it. Meghan hasn't wanted to believe it. But with this last act of treachery and betrayal from Charles, if you don't want to believe it, you best start to believe it. Because if he hadn't been anything, he has been clear. He looks at Harry and his family as a problem, the same way he looked at Diana as a problem. And don't get it twisted. They'll deal with the Sussexes the same way they dealt with Diana if the Sussexes don't wake up and allow them to do it. Because we see it. We see it. We all see it. I am just wanting Harry and Meghan to see it. This squatty said they claimed that they offered her protection, but she refused, which led to her death. Yet somehow they're refusing to give her son the same security. Thank God for the era of social media because the North will remember. Rest in peace, Princess Diana. Yeah, and one thing I love about Harry has put this on Front Street. If anything happened, God forbid, he has put it out there for everyone to see that this family is the reason for anything that happens to him or his family or both. Because at the end of the day, he has fought tooth and nail for the security that they lied. I believe they lied and said that they offered to Diana because this has always been the playbook. Pull the security, ramp up the hate, and sit back and wait for it to happen. Yes. So I love that Harry has exposed them. Yes. And by exposing them, he has made himself and his family safer. Y'all tell me what y'all think. And I am going to play another little soundbite. It is from Harry and his interview with the BBC. And he pretty much said it is some sinister forces wanting history to repeat itself. I'm going to play it and we'll talk on the other side.
And how does that make you feel, given you have expressed numerous times that you do not want history to repeat itself?
Yeah, I don't want history to repeat itself. I think there's a lot of other people out there, the majority, that also don't want history to repeat itself. Through the disclosure process, I've discovered that some people want history to repeat itself, which is pretty dark.
That's quite a statement. Who do you think that is?
I'm not going to share it at this point. You know, I know all the names of the people that were involved in this process. And again, you know, you have to question, why wasn't I put through the same risk management board that everybody else was put through, including members of my family?
And you rejected not because you're no longer working.
Harry knows exactly who wants history to repeat itself. He just said that. Yes, and we all know that we know as well. And that would be Charles and Willie. It is so plain. I mean, a blind man could see this because Charles is the king of the United Kingdom. And the head of the terrorist agency said that if the king wanted his son to be protected, he would be protected. End of story. If the monarch wanted it, it would happen. So what does that tell you? The monarch doesn't want it. And you just might as well come to terms with it. Charles will plant stories about how he wants to see his grandchildren. He'll plant stories about his darling boy. But at the end of the day, Charles do not give two shits about Harry and those babies. And Meghan said on Oprah, she already know how they feel about her. And as for Charles, he has showed all his cards. He wants to Diana Harry. And you want a receipt where he says it straight out? He has been saying this, but we have always wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, especially when we heard that Harry, Meghan, and the kids were going to go over to the UK, that Charles was going to welcome back the prodigal son. At least these were the stories being planted by Effingham Palace. That Harry would be welcomed back like the prodigal son and kill the fatted cow, that he was going to open his arms up to his grandchildren and his daughter-in-law. So, of course, we wanted to believe that. But Charles has been telling us who he is the whole time. He has. Listen to this. A receipt. It says King Charles justifies the government preventing his son from having security by arguing that a successful attack on Prince Harry would not significantly disturb the British public, meaning that Harry's death would mean nothing. Now that right there is very telling, that he would release that in order to block security for his son. I mean, he did that with his whole chest. And this is him taking the wrong road again. And it's very dangerous. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But yeah, Harry knows exactly what's going on, and he best be very, very careful, because these people want him dead. And they want Invictus. I believe they want to separate him from Invictus as well. These people have no achievements of their own. Nothing that family has ever done can compare to Harry's achievements, his accolades, Invictus, All the ones, look at Travelers. I mean, it is on its way to be bigger than Invictus. But yet and still, these people are jealous and they will hurt him. They will, just like they did his mother. I'm just saying. And look at this from the so-called Royal Uncensored. This is the show that Pierce Moron has created. You know, his is called Uncensored. Now it's the Royals Uncensored. Why? Because none of this would ever exist if it wasn't for Harry and Meghan. Them constantly talking about Harry and Meghan. Because nobody cares anything about Willie, Kitty, Charles, and his horse. But look what it says. It says, it's the height of bad manners. If you're offered a royal residence, at least let the king know. Katie Nicholl reveals that palace aides say Prince Harry has not confirmed where he will stay during his UK visit. And that right there is eating them up. They want to know who's coming, if Meghan and the kids are coming, and if they're coming, where they're going to stay. This is what this is all about. And that whole you're invited to stay on a royal residence, we talked about that in my last podcast. I wouldn't be surprised if it was all bugged. We have an old saying down here in the South, you don't eat everybody's food and you don't sleep in everybody's bed. Harry and Meghan do not need to have anything to do with a royal residence, because we have another saying down here in the South, and it is, if you lie down with dogs, you'll get up with fleas. Harry has not let them know anything. They are leaking about not knowing anything. That goes to show you Harry could never trust these people when it comes to his wife, when it comes to his children. And so I hope only Harry shows up, and I hope Harry does that engagement and fly straight out. Fly in that same day. If y'all remember when Harry did that turnaround for a well child, I mean, he was in the United Kingdom for less than 24 hours. That's the kind of turnaround Harry needs to do. I know those people over there would love that. Charles would love that. Willie would love that. But so would we, because we would know that our favorite prince would be safe. Because I don't trust these people behind a broom straw. And sometimes we are rooting for the same thing when it comes to Harry and Meghan. They don't want them over there, and squatties don't want them over there. We are absolutely in agreement on that deal. But I digress. They had a whole panel discussion about how Harry hadn't taken the king up on his offer to stay at a royal residence. Why would he? Why would he? His father has made himself perfectly clear that Harry is not welcome and his life means nothing. And the lives of his wife and children mean equally as nothing to that man. So why would Harry ever want to stay at a royal residence again? And look what this squatty posted. This is out of the Sunday Telegraph back in 2022. It says Rayvac reveals membership of committee in charge of Sussex's protected security is made public. It says the King and the Prince of Wales' closest aides will play a central role in future decisions about the Sussex's security. It is expected that Sir Clive Alderton, the King's private secretary, will replace Sir Edward Young, Queen Elizabeth's private secretary. And so there it is. Charles has made a statement that if something happens to Harry, no big deal. And they have their own private secretaries as a part of RAVAC. And Harry let us know in his statement earlier this week that this whole risk assessment that he thought was going on was put on pause in March. And I am willing to bet you no one told Harry. Yes, and Willie and Charles is both. Their private secretary sits on the board of RAVAC. Now, who do you think put that on pause? Who do you think do not care if something happens to Harry and his family? It ain't the Easter Bunny. It ain't Santa Claus. It is his father and his brother. This squatty said, what a disgusting pair Charles and William are to deliberately put Harry and his family in danger. They can stop pretending that they have no influence. It's very clear they do. And because of petty nonsense, they are happy to put the family at risk. Shame on them. Now, it's not about pettiness. It is about jealousy and the lack of control. They want to control Harry and Meghan and those babies and use their shine to benefit them. Because when the shine is not benefiting them, they consider it a threat. And that is exactly why Harry and Meghan are in danger. Because Harry and Meghan are not in the circle, don't want to be in the circle, don't want to have anything to do with the royal circle. And anytime you're outside of the circle, and especially if you have some shine, you're a threat. And this is from Good Morning Britain. It says, just days before Prince Harry is expected to return to the UK, ITV News has seen a confidential security report claiming the Duke faces 6 terrorist threats, 5 of which allegedly originated in Britain. The report prepared by the Sussex's private security firm also argues that Harry's protection officers are prevented from adequately responding to an armed attack while he is in the UK. Well, we know that, and Charles knows that, and everybody knows that. But Charles and Willie do not care because their goal is for something to happen to Harry. It's the same playbook that they use with Diana. Strip the security, create havoc and chaos around them, let the flying monkeys loose and have their way to gin up as much hate as possible and wait for it all to come together. Charles and Willie are not moving like someone trying to save Harry and his family's life. They're moving like someone who wants to destroy Harry and his family's life. Now, I'm going to play a snippet of this from Good Morning Britain, and we're going to talk on the other side. Y'all hear that little shade coming from Chris Ship with a P, not a T? Yes, when he said Harry's home country. Yes, it is Harry's home country. And Harry's team just laid it out. And I don't know who this man is that said that this report that Harry presented to RAVAC was biased because it was coming from Harry. How does that work? So anything that Harry presents to RAVAC is going to be biased because it's coming from him? They are fully aware of everything that's going on. And for him to say if it was a real threat, then they would protect Harry. Well, we have saw that not to be true. And Harry is putting it all out there. I mean, I guess the FBI is lying too when they said that it was a threat against Harry and his family. But in that part where they said Charles, he didn't feel like he could interfere. That's a low down, dirty dog. And I will never, ever, ever be swayed any other way. I know Harry wants to try to reconcile with his father, but I hope at this point he knows that he doesn't have a father. He, just like Meghan, has a sperm donor. And neither one of them means Meghan or Harry any good. Yes, Charles is clear about where he stands. And where he stands is he don't give a damn about the life of his so-called darling boy and his family. He has made that perfectly clear, and we should never get it twisted again. Never to be sucked in by all the reports that he wants to reunite with his son. Because at the end of the day, if he wanted to, he would do it. And this opportunity right here is an opportunity missed. And it was missed on purpose. We have to remember that. And I hope Harry will. And this squatty said, I truly believe that it is during this fateful meeting with the snake in the grass, Charles, that they begged Prince Harry to share his calendar with Effingham Palace because the leftovers were so overshadowed, which they still are. Harry agreed, and he and his family has not been saved since. Where is the lie? Let's not forget, Harry agreed to share his diary with Charles. That is the reason why they know where he's at, when he is going to be here and when he's going to be there. And that is very, very dangerous. It is very, very dangerous now that we know that Charles is still the same old Charles. He is still the same old snake in the grass, just like this squatty said. Yes, Harry needs to stop sharing his diary with them right away. This squatty said, whatever deal Charles made with Prince Harry to share the Sussex's calendar with him, with Harry's kind nature doing the bittery petty king a favor because they are too often overshadowed by Harry and Meghan just by them breathing. Harry should stop this nonsense. It puts him and his family in danger. Where is the lie? Where is it? And this squatty posted that same post and said, I agree. When this trip concludes, I do not think Harry should share his schedule anymore. He did that in good faith and to start building some bridges and to soothe Charles' insane ego. Bridges work both ways. I've seen zero effort on Charles's side to build a bridge himself. Where is the lie? Where is it? I'm looking for it. Harry has made every effort to try to build bridges with that family over there. And Charles has done nothing but taken a match to every effort. Sharing Harry and Meghan's diary is at this point dangerous because we clearly see that the enemy is from within. It has become very clear that Charles, Willie, Kitty, and the horse are way more dangerous to Prince Harry and his family than some random Taliban fighter or some unknown terrorist. Harry needs to stop trying to build bridges with people whose only interest is to burn them down. And he needs to protect his family. As long as these people know what Harry and Meghan's next moves are, then they are in danger. Stop sharing the diary. And this squatty said, Charles is a racist. He was part of the gang who questioned unborn Prince Archie's skin color. And let's not forget, he did everything he could to stop those children from getting those titles. He held on to them as long as he could. And how do we know he held on to them as long as he could? Because Harry and Meghan had to come out and expose them, saying that Harry and Meghan had been trying to get the kids' passports with their titles on them because they had to change passports because after the Queen died, they became prince and princess. So they needed for their passport to say that. And they held those passports up until Harry came out and said something about it. Pretty much, What's the holdup? And finally, they issued the passports with the kids' titles on them. Y'all remember that? Yes, this is Charles. Let's not forget that. This is who he is. And when he lies and says he wants to see his grandchildren, it is a lie because he didn't even want his grandchildren to have the titles. And I believe because of that African blood that's in those children. I believe it with everything in me. So when this squatty said he's a racist, he is a racist, in my opinion. They go on to say he was part of the gang who questioned unborn Prince Archie's skin color. Yes, he was one of the royal racists. Don't forget him and Kitty. And it says, and doing everything to keep them out of the UK while pretending he wants to see them. And he is pretending. Because if Charles wanted to see his grandchildren, do you think he would have missed this opportunity to do so? Absolutely not. And look how the proper queen behaved when she wanted to see her great grandchildren. What did she do? She made it happen. And if Charles wanted to see his grandchildren, he would do the same. He would make it happen. Charles was in America this year, and he made no effort to see those grandchildren. And now Harry wants to bring his family back to the UK. And what does Charles do? Work in the background, putting up as many stumbling blocks to keep them out as he can. Yes, Charles is over there doing what we say in the South, throwing rocks and hiding his hands. Yeah. So, because of that, he wants us to believe that he really wants to see his grandchildren. No. You can say whatever you want to say, but a man who has as much power as Charles does, if he wanted to see his grandchildren, he would see his grandchildren. And this is a repost, and the original post is talking about Ravak and their decision not to give Harry any security. And this squatty said, this is not looking good for Charles or the British government. And besides, the whole sentimentary about where it all started 10 years ago, I still have to ask, what the hell were the IG board members thinking bringing back the games to the UK where its founder is not guaranteed security? Exactly. Why? Why did they bring the games back to the UK if Harry was never guaranteed security? But we all know that family, they will lie. They will lie and pretend that they're going to do something and not do it. And then put it in writing and still not do it. This is who these people are. So I'm believing that Harry probably did get some guarantees, but the guarantees was not worth the paper it was written on. That these people are who they are. Just what we say they are. They're snakes and they're vipers and they're lizard people. And they are not to be trusted. This squatty reposted that and said, in my opinion, this entire fiasco with Harry and Meghan's security and awarding the IG 2027 to the UK was a long-term plot. What do y'all think about that? That this was a long-term plot to ice Harry out of the Invictus games. I'm starting to believe that. I really am. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But I'm feeling like this, squatty. It is starting to look a lot like a plot, a setup. Very, very sus. My last podcast was the setup. Yes, and I'm really starting to believe it. This squatty goes on to say they wanted to have the games on British soil but exclude the Sussexes from it in order to substitute another role as the center focus. It is symbolic all over again. What y'all think? I'm thinking, I am thinking. It is looking like that, is it not? How in the world does the founder not get security for the games that is bringing so much money, so many eyeballs over there to your country? I mean, so much money to be made. That is why I said, where is the vets? I mean, something needs to be said. Something needs to be said because this is sus. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but I agree with this squatty. It is starting to smell like a full-on plot from Charles and Willie. This squatty said, you could be right. I literally thought the same thing the other day and was like, nah, not even them could be this diabolical. But as you mentioned, look at Cinnabale. Yes, we always tend to underestimate these snakes. Why? Because we're good people. It's hard for us to think so negatively about other people. That is the reason why we miss some of this stuff because we're not treacherous, we're not evil, we're not diabolical. We don't look for negativity and evilness in other people. So we always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. I said that earlier. Yes, give Charles the benefit of the doubt. And in actuality, that is the way you get bit by a snake. Y'all remember that old story where that man went out and found a snake and it was frozen? He brought it in, wrapped it up in a blanket, put it by the fire, warmed it up, gave it some food to eat, and then the snake turned around and bit him. And he said, why? I did all this stuff for you. I brought you in. I saved your life. I put a blanket, my best blanket around you, warm you up and fed you. And you still turn around and bite me? And the snake said, you knew I was a snake when you did all that. And the moral to that story is a snake is always going to be a snake, no matter how nice, how good, how kind you are. They'll always bite you because that is who they are. They're snakes. We have to remember that about this family. They're snakes. And snakes are always going to bite you no matter how nice you are. And if they're venomous, they'll kill you. And this squatty said, yes, all of this foolishness could be a ruse to push the Invictus Game Foundation board into removing Harry as their patron and put in another royal to replace him. My spidey senses has been tingling since the UK was announced as a finalist. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. After next week and year, we will see. Yes, we will see. But like this squatty, my spidey senses have been tingling. Y'all tell me what y'all think about all this. Has Harry been too trusting? Is this a setup? Are they really trying to take Invictus away from Harry? Y'all tell me what y'all think. But my spidey senses are just out of control. And I'm going to put this up and we're going to change gears a little bit. And this is from Zanny Sussex, and she is talking about Kitty. And Zanny said, in 24 hours, the story changed after Kate Middleton was busted lying about a mountain challenge. Thank you, random hikers, for sharing your organic footage that inadvertently proved the lie. Yes, what they didn't anticipate, and most of the time liars and fakers don't, they don't anticipate people seeing them, recording them. You can't do anything nowadays without getting recorded. It's very hard to fake and lie. Now, Kensington Palace continues to try to do so, but they always get caught out like they did. because she said, as you can see in the Daily Fail, it said she completed the challenge alone, with her family meeting her at the base of her final stop. Well, hikers recorded her, and guess who was with her? Her brother. I do not believe Kitty hiked all these mountains in 24 hours. I don't believe that either. All of this has been a ruse, but they had to go and change the headline. And now it has gone from her doing it by herself to Kate is supported by her brother James, who is wearing a microphone. Yes, wearing a microphone. Can y'all guess what is coming next? We're going to talk about it. This squatty said Kate Middleton's journey wasn't personal, nor was it a private way of giving back after the cancer she never had. It was an official engagement, aka PR. Yes, because she logged it in as an engagement. It went towards work. Yes, I believe she's trying to get those numbers up because last year she did 61 engagements. So she want to beat her record for 62 maybe, because she logged this in as a work event. She did. And this squatty said, this looks less like a personal hike and more like a carefully choreographed raw PR exercise. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. This is who Kitty is. She is as fake and phony as they come. Her and Willie both. I have said this time and time again. They are two different sides of the same coin. Both are very evil, envious, jealous, cosplaying snakes. He was cosplaying Harry while she was over there at Wimbledon cosplaying Meghan. I mean, it is the sickest thing. But the most sickest of them all is to pretend like you have cancer and go on a fake hike to raise money for a hospital that you never had chemotherapy at. Then you make sure all these famous hikers are on this trail and you get to meet them and record them for your future documentary. And just so happened a father and some other people was carrying their handicapped son up the mountain with them in his wheelchair. And who did he run right into? Oh, that would be the Princess of Wales. Another coinkydink. Yes, you believe all that. If you think that that would just something organically happen, I have a bridge in San Francisco to sell you. Yes, it's made of gold. They even call it the Golden Gate Bridge because you're gullible as AF if you believe that that little boy and that father and all of them was carrying him up there in a wheelchair. And all of that wasn't choreographed for the new coming documentary. Yes, I said it. Yes, I believe Kate is making a cancer documentary that nobody asked for and nobody wants and nobody will watch. But we know that that never stops Kate or Kensington Palace. And I am willing to bet you that it's going to air on an American streaming service. What you want to bet? Because this is not about the UK. This is all about America. And Harry and Meghan, it is all about them. It's all about Harry and Meghan because Willie and Kitty's eyes have turned to America. And this is the reason why William said when he becomes king, royalty is going to be a little r, because he is going to proceed to try to duplicate Harry and Meghan's life in America. If you've been paying attention and watching the chessboard, you can see that the pieces are starting to move in that direction. They are starting to lay the groundwork for their lives in America. And as we go along in this podcast, I'm going to put some more meat on those bones and you'll see what I'm talking about. The chess pieces are starting to move. But I digress. It goes on to say, but do you know that those same random members of the public didn't happen to capture William and the children waiting at the bottom? Now, we might see them in the documentary waiting at the bottom, but nobody got any video of them waiting at the bottom. And this squatty said apparently the scene had to come from somewhere else. KP's favorite creative assistant since March 2024, the mighty AI. Yeah, I saw an AI image of William the kids, and I think they said her parents waiting at the foot of the mountain when she descended. Yeah, right. But we know KP will use AI because don't forget, AI Kate sitting on the bench announcing that she has performative cancer. That was clearly AI. And this squatty says there is no way lazy Duchess Doolittle Kate managed to walk 23 miles, 3,064 meters, 10 feet of ascension, descension, and a massive 462 miles of travel between Ben Nevis in Scotland, Scarfield Pike in England, and Snowdon in Wales in 24 hours with barely any rest. Who they're fooling. Exactly. Do you believe that? I don't believe it for a minute. And the video we had of her descending down with her brother, she is just as jolly and happy as she can be. She don't look tired. She don't look exhausted. She don't look like she has trekked over 3,064 meters. Come on now. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. This woman is a fake, a phony, a liar, and a copycat. And we have this gentleman right here. He was also on the mountain and he recorded Kate descending down the mountain. And it turned out that evidently Kensington Palace didn't like what he had posted, well, what he had recorded and then posted, to the point where he had to hop on these internet streets and apologize and give the video that he recorded, his own personal video on his own personal phone. He gave it over to Kensington Palace. Now, I am not going to play his apology because I bet you it is copyrighted and they will ding the heck out of me. But I will post it over on Patreon. But this particular squatty posted it and said Kensington Palace illegally obtained footage from hiker who was filming in public his own footage. He was probably bullied and threatened with legal action. Why? Because he filmed Kate on a public mountain and the footage is going against what KP tried to sell as Kate's hike story. Kensington Palace is using this policy for everyone behind the scenes, threatening papers and journalists too, all this time. I'm so glad all of this is exposed. The poor guy looks absolutely scared in the video. He posted apologizing. I'm telling you, it looks like a hostage video. Like I said, I'm going to post it over to Patreon. Not going to put it in the podcast, but yeah, it absolutely looks like a hostage video. And this little cartoon cracked me up when I saw it. I'm telling you, look at it. And this squatties who made it said, anyone else sick of seeing Mumbles taking credit for farm market cake climbing those hills? Nothing gets a whale's PR machine running like a trip from the Sussexes. Yes, but I really feel that Megan and the babies are probably not going to come, and I am happy with that. Because knowing some of the things that have been going on in the background, knowing the threats, knowing the danger, knowing that they will not have adequate security, yeah, I'll be happy with the babies and Megan being in Montecito and nervous about Harry being there. I'm just saying, y'all tell me what y'all think, but maybe they think the Sussex is coming, and that's good for Britain. At least they get to see their future king and queen dumb as a rock a little more than they usually do. But as for me, I want Megan and the babies to stay at home. And I just love this picture, though. Let's get back to this picture. It says, "Aren't you sick of Mumbles taking credit for farm market cakes climbing the mountain?" No, it said farm market cake climbing those hills. I died when I saw this. It's because we all know that farm market cake did all that climbing. And this squatty said, "Congratulations to Farm Shop Fake Cake for hiking the mountain in 24 hours." Well, if it was any cake, it had to be Farm Shop cake because it definitely was not Kitty Cat, future Queen Dumb as a Rock. Absolutely not. And I'm going to put this up because this was caught on Mount Snowdon by the young man who gave up his footage to Kensington Palace and apologized to him. Well, this squatty took a screen grab of that, and look at what is in Kitty's pants. Something is in Kitty's pants. Now, the pants is shocking enough for the future queen to be gallivanting up and down mountains with them on. But as you can see, something is clearly in those shorts. Now, it's a lot of squatties, they have had fun with this picture. But this squatty said something very interesting, and I think I maybe agree. And y'all tell me what y'all think. It says, "My guess is the bulge visible through the shorts is from a hidden colostomy bag." What do y'all think? Now, we had some reports that if she had the kind of surgery, abdominal surgery, that we might think she had, then she might had to temporarily wear a colostomy bag. But y'all know we are many, many years out. Not many, many, but at least a couple of years out from the surgery. Is she still wearing a colostomy bag? And fake Cancer Kitty actually had cancer. She didn't have performative cancer. Something is in her pants. I don't know what it is. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but this squatty may be right. And this squatty said, "In all seriousness, what is the dangling in front of Kate? What is that? And this isn't the first time it shows." And as you can see in that yellow dress, when the wind blew, she absolutely had something under that dress. And if she does have a colostomy bag, it might explain the weight loss. What do y'all think? This squatty came up under there and said, "I hate to say it, and it's only my opinion, colostomy bag." I don't know, y'all. I'm just putting it out there because I don't know. And Kate has been making her rounds at Wimbledon. People magazine wrote about it and said Kate Middleton delights fans by lining up alongside them at Wimbledon before taking in some tennis. Now, they're trying to pretend like Kate was there. She didn't have security or anything like that. It clearly shows that she did have security. She had men around her. Now, she did stand up. She was not in the royal box, but she was not at a court that had a royal box. But you know, they always try to make something out of nothing. Kensington Palace does. They always try to prop this mediocre woman up and try to make her into Meghan. They do. And as you can see how she's dressed, she is completely in costume. She could be at Halloween because she is fully dressed like Meghan. The only difference in this outfit and the one that Meghan wore is the color. Kate is a sick woman, and I don't mean just physically, I mean mentally as well. You have to be totally just, I don't even know the word I'm searching for in order to be this woman. You have to have, first of all, no shame. Do she not know that people have saw Meghan in this very look? And she has no shame. Look at her. I mean, this woman is diabolical. She really, really is. This particular squatty said, this is creepy. When since she started dressing like this? We all know who she's copying, but I know these batshit crazy royalists will foam and huff at the mouth that it's not so. But it's exactly so. Her mentality is unstable and obsessed with trying to emulate Meghan, shaking my head. And it is just not Meghan's clothes. It is her mannerism. It is her hairdo. It is everything. This woman sits in Forest Lodge and sit and watch video of Meghan and absolutely copies everything. You know how sick you have to be to hate someone as deeply and as passionately as Kate supposedly does. At least that's what Kensington Palace keeps on briefing the media and planning stories, saying that she could never forgive Meghan. She loathed Meghan. But look at her. Look at her. This woman is sick. She is. And you know, I used to didn't have feelings about Kate either way. But just this nonsense, it really makes me feel some kind of way about her, to the point where I don't really like her. I think this woman is really, really evil, because you have to be evil. You have to be jealous. You have to be resentful. You have to be diabolical to do something like this. I mean, to try to take ownership of someone's very essence. I mean, it is crazy to me. This woman is colonizing Meghan's whole persona. This squatty that posted this said, Kitty is pathetic. And that's all really that needs to be said. I mean, this is sad. It is crazy. It is not normal. And I don't know why people are not calling it out. But they never call out anything for Kitty. They don't call out the fact that she weighs about 85 pounds soaking wet. They don't call that out. And they don't call out this woman who is single white female in Meghan. Look at this. This squatty posted this, and it says Kate Wimbledon outfit looks identical to Meghan's Geneva outfit. Yeah, she stole the whole look except for the hair. She went back and got that when Meghan was in New York. This person said he married a psycho. That fishnet dress. Yes, the one she wore to catch him. But yeah, he married his stalker and a psycho. And look at this. Here's the hair I was talking about. Copy Kitty strikes again. This airhead can't even dream of being a boss like Queen Meghan is. 100%. Stole the whole hairdo. Stole the whole outfit. The shoe. everything. She stole it. I mean, I cannot. I cannot. Like I said, this is diabolical and it makes me feel some kind of way. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but it makes me have some disdain for her. It really does because it's something going on here. Yeah. And nobody wants to call it out. And I'll tell you something else went on. She had on a hidden microphone. And this is the reason why I really think that she is going to put out a documentary. Like I said, one nobody asked for, one nobody's going to watch, and one that nobody is ever going to care about because she's in it. And this squatty posted the picture, and as you can see, there it is, hidden right under her suit jacket. This squatty said Kate Middleton wearing a secret mic device. Kate Middleton has been visiting Wilmington. Getty Images doesn't alter or change, filter their pictures. Kate Middleton is seen here on a picture from Getty, clearly wearing a mic device hidden from inside of her jacket, probably to be told what to do, what to say. This is beyond unbelievable. Oh my God. Now, I don't think it is to tell her what to do or what to say, because even if they did, she would still mumble it out. But I do believe it's for a documentary. I really do. Now, had they fed her some lines prior and made her practice them so they could be clear, so people could understand what she was saying, now that right there may have happened. But I really feel that this is about a documentary. Y'all tell me what y'all think. This squatty said, never forget when obsessed trolls accused Meghan of wearing a device when it was just dress wrinkles, and Daily Mail and other racist tabloids was so ready to write about these silly theories, only to find their fave Kitty wearing a whole device under her blazer years later. Yeah, I remember this. Oh, Angela Levin talking about Harry and Meghan and the Netflix cameras. And Kate and Willie could not get to the cameras quick enough, could not cosplay and copy Harry and Meghan quick enough. I mean, it is ridiculous at this point. These two people have no shame. I keep saying that because it is stunning to me how blatant and brazen they are when it comes to cosplaying Harry and Meghan. And this squatty went and found the exact same device that Kate has under her coat, posted the receipt, and said, caught red-handed. It is nothing that they can do with squatties because they are absolutely like the FBI, Scotland Yard, and what? And Sherlock Holmes, all rolled up in one. So if it's out there to be found, squatties will find it. Yes, caught red-handed. And Willie was out cosplaying Harry, trying to be just a regular guy on a podcast in America. And guess who he was on the podcast with? Travis Kelce, the one that is marrying Taylor Swift today. Yes, Travis, the one he met one time when he took the kids to the Taylor Swift concert. This to me is part of a bigger puzzle. Yes, the picture is becoming clearer and clearer. For me, I believe this is Willie's attempt to get a foothold into Hollywood. He wants to have the same kind of life with the same kind of relationships that Harry and Meghan have with stars in Hollywood. He wants that. And this is his way. He is trying to get a foothold into it. He doesn't want to be the king of England. He wants to be Harry that lives in Montecito. He wants the status, but he wants Harry's life. And to me, this right here tells me everything I need to know. He is trying to get a foothold in. Now, y'all tell me, am I over my skis? But I really feel, and I have said this time and time again, Harry and Meghan needs to make sure the security is on point, because they might wake up one morning riding down the Santa Monica freeway in the back of a blacked out van while Kitty and Willie is moving into their Montecito home, because Kitty and Willie do not want to be like Harry and Meghan. They want to be Harry and Meghan. You don't copy everything that someone does to be like them. You want to be them. So Harry and Meghan have to be very careful, because these two are crazy. Y'all tell me what y'all think. But yes, he was on an American podcast with Travis Kelce and his brother, just shooting the breeze as if he is a normal person. Because guess what? He wants that normalcy that Harry has. And he wants Meghan. He not only wants what Harry has, like his home and everything, he wants his wife as well. So, and Kitty wants to be his wife. And that might be the source of why Kitty continues to cosplay Meghan. She is trying to be what William wants. Y'all tell me what y'all think about that theory. But yeah, it's crazy. And it is a small piece to a bigger puzzle. These people are coming to America. I have said it. Just as soon as they have the reins, just as soon as they ascend to the throne, they are going to get a house in America. And that right there is going to be really, really tough, because the people of England are not going to be happy with their royals living in America. I'm just saying. And just a few more things real quick. I wanted to show y'all this. Look like Meghan's dress, her wedding dress, is iconic. We already knew it, but this was featured in Style magazine. It says the most iconic wedding looks of all time. They have Grace Kelly, they have Mariah Carey, they have Solange, and look over there in the corner, they have Meghan. Yes, Kitty couldn't make the list because she cosplayed Princess Grace. Yes, because it was the same dress. That woman never, ever, ever comes up with an original thought. And I also want to put this up because Scotty's is changing their name. They are going from Scotty's Little Soldiers to Scotty's the Military Bereavement Charity. Yes, Scotty's Little Soldiers are changing their names, but still a wonderful, wonderful charity. And y'all know I love to end on a positive note. And the positive note today is that the Daily Fail is being sued. Yes, it says the Daily Fail sued over systematically lifting of social media images. Yes, they have been lifting pictures from photographers and using them and putting on a fake copyright address so they won't get dinged when they publish them. Yes, now that is what is alleged. And they're saying that it has been over $10 million that the Daily Mail has pretty much scammed these photographers out of this year. And they say in the article, allegedly, this has been going on for a while. We're talking years and years and years. So I just wonder how this is going to shake out. And the photographer that started this class action suit against the Daily Mail, his name is Matthew Moore, and he seems like he is coming for the neck of the Daily Fail. Yes, it looks like Count Nappyhead is going to have to come out of the pocket. Maybe, allegedly. Also, I'm hoping that Count Nappyhead is going to have to come out of the pocket for our Prince Harry. Yes, because on August the 7th, we will find out the results of the case that Prince Harry and the other plaintiffs brought against the Daily Fail. Yes, August the 7th is the day we get the judgment. And also, it's the day that Cookie Queens hits the theaters. So, August the 7th is going to be a big day in the Sussex household. And it's going to be a big day around here too, because I'm going to be on these internet streets really trying to figure out what's going on, because I want to know about this judgment. I do. And I just want Cookie Queens to be a box office smash. All right, y'all. Y'all know I always enjoy my time with y'all. I hope you enjoyed your time with me. If you want to support the channel, look right below and those three dots, click those and you'll see the super thanks button. If you want to be a part of the reading club and become a channel member, the link is below as well. And as you can see, I have Buy Me a Coffee and I have Patreon up on the screen. Also, I have, what is it, PayPal, and I have Cash App in my bio. So if you choose to donate, it's plenty of ways to do so. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all next time. So sorry I kept y'all long this time, but I just had a lot to talk about. We had a lot to catch up on. Next time, I won't keep you long, but I had to keep you a little longer today. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all a little later. Bye.